So then it's up to me, I believe. Yeah. Good morning to everybody. So we are still waiting for a lot of attendees. So up to now we are only 5 or 50, so it's just 10%. So starting with some information, I hope everybody is, everybody is nice. All of you are able to see my screen and see myself, my webcam. If you are not able to see my webcam, you can see on the screen how you should be able to do so. On the upper left you will have the webcams, and of course you can open the settings of the webcams and hide the webcams and unhide again, and then of course you should be able to see my webcam and not only the static picture on the foil. So maybe today it will take a bit longer because I'm still fighting with pain in the throat and a bit flu and higher temperatures. Yeah? I'm not sweating because I'm doing a webinar. I'm sweating because it's warm in the office, even if it's only 19 degrees. Yeah? So.
Yeah, I guess we will touch the temperature topic during the presentation. That's probably most related to the products, Nicholas, but you have a chance to say something about that. As we said also last time, it's open to ask questions on this question. Nicholas will show this also later, but we will try to respond to questions as much as we can during the presentation, if you are kind to type them in on this question function in the webinar system, and if you by any chance do not get any reply during or after the presentation, we will do our utmost to reply to them later. So we are very happy with questions, so we can also try to target our communication as good as we can.
Looks like we started too early. There are not more coming in. Yeah. So we get another tea. Yeah. What to do? How long do we want to wait, Robert? What do you?
No, I think we will give
5 minutes.
No, we wait 1 minute and then we start. I think we are almost getting there now. So.
Okay.
Okay, then I'm turning off my camera and I think we should start, Nicholas.
Yep. Okay. So, first of all, a few information already Robert started and myself already mentioned before. So if you do not get my webcam, just follow the rule here and go up to your webcam setting on your GoToWebinar and hide and unhide the webcam. After unhiding again, it should work, and then of course you should get my picture, and not only that one where I'm looking a bit angry. Yeah, I always try to smile if possible. It's not always possible to smile, but I hope mainly I'm smiling. Yeah. So the next point, the next slide we get is that what Robert already mentioned. If there are questions, as you are muted, your microphone will not work. So that means if there are questions, you should place them in the question box in the side of on your screen. You will get a special box for questions, and you can just type in the questions, and partly Robert will try to answer right beside of the webinar, and if not, we will pick some questions later after the webinar, or even we will send the answers after the webinar if it takes a bit longer and if it's not from interest for everybody. Yeah. You will get the copy of the presentation, or it's possible to get that one. You will get it via your sales representative, and of course we will send out a link for the complete webinar. You can scream and reply the webinar itself with every information, with the comments and so on. Yeah. So it's not more? No, not yet. So record a webinar. That's done, and normally we should be 50 persons for this webinar for the Watertight, LED Watertight, and the TL60 today. So okay, so then let's start with the webinar. Yeah, it's nice to have you here. Thanks a lot. So the topic today, the LED Watertights, and of course mainly focusing on the TL60, the new in bracket LED watertight, new. It's already more than 1 year ago launched, yeah? But everybody knows we have a very conservative market, and it takes a bit time to get new products into the existing projects, or we have to wait for new projects. So my name is Nicholas Ackermann. I'm project manager in the Glamox group, and I'm responsible for, let's say, mainly the technical fittings, including of course the Watertights, TL60, floodlights, and so on. So if we start with LED Watertights, so if you're entering or open our web page, you will find on the product side, you will find a page with categories and a small part with filters. So if you're looking for LED watertights, for example, you will look for filter on the technical outdoors and filter on the type of light source with LED. You can do the same with LED floodlights or with navigation lights or technical lights indoor, and all this. This will work the same way. So if you set a filter here on the technical lights outdoor, that means for the IP rates, and a filter light of type of light source, and you filter on the LED, you will find your setting filters up here on the upper row, so that you can see what filters you already set, technical outdoors and LED. So that means you will end up with a picture of 5 different groups. That doesn't mean that these groups are already filtered to LED, but you will find LED fittings inside of these groups. Yeah. So the TL60, for example, is only LED. Then for the technical outdoor, you will find different ones with the Mir LED, the replacement kit, the 1044, something like this. You also will find for the outdoor, you will find explosion proof. So there you will find the max, and you find cold areas, and also the pressure tight. So then of course it's up to you to select on which group you want to go. So that means you are going, for example, the technical outdoor. Yeah. Then you end up with the technical outdoor here. And for example, this picture one is just a standard mirror. Yeah. You will end up on this page. And on the next step, of course, you are able to set back here, if you go to find your versions, then you will find the list with all the fittings down here. It's a long list with, you can see, 158 different fittings. And you will find a filter setting on the left. And this filter setting on the left includes the light source. Yeah? So that means if you set the filter here on the left, light source with LED, then of course this list of 158, I'm going back, 158 in the beginning without any filters, then set the filter with LED, you will end up with 16 hits. Yeah, so that means you will get all the technical outdoor possibilities, including the light source LED. No T5, no T8, nothing else, only the LED ones. And you can see here you will find a mere kit to replace the existing T8 by the LED, two of them for the mirror, the third one for the mirror. Then you will find a 1448, for example. You will find a conversion kit to replace a 1044 T8 to LED, and you will find some more of them. Yeah? You will find different versions as this replacement kit. You will find the 1448 we had already done. You will find for example, 1771 or 1961, you will find the Mialet, you will find the 0283, the high pressure watertight, and of course you will find the TL60. And today we are focusing on the TL60 because this is a real LED fitting. All these fittings here are adapted to LED. That means even the gear tray of the mirror is for placed inside of the mirror. The standard housing replaced the T8 by LED. And the real one, new one, designed for LED is the TL60. So we will focus on the TL60 today. The TL60, of course, as it's a complete new fitting, is mainly the first choice for the new buildings. For the existing vessels running with 1044 or with a mirror, for example, we have the problem that most of the customers are not willing to change the cabling. So that means they just want to, if possible, replace the gear tray and keep the cable glands with the mainly painted cables, yeah, so that they can keep the existing body itself. So that means they only have to replace the gear tray. That's the one part. For the new buildings, it really makes sense to start with a new fitting, a real new fitting, designed for LED with all the cooling, with everything, because there we have a long lifetime and the cable it's new, so it's not painted already. Yeah, of course, it's also possible to replace a mirror or a 1044 by the TL60. The only part, of course, is the cable glands are normally on board. The cable and the cable glands are painted, and that's always a problem with, let's say, old cable, 10 years painted. It's not the best possibility to get them watertight again. Yeah. So back to the TL60. The TL60 has a lot of really advantages. Yeah? So we have a low building height with 75 millimeters in height. It's a very slim fitting. Yeah? Slim design, slim fitting. You will find a space nearly everywhere. Yeah? So there's no need for special constructions. It can just be placed on wherever on the ceiling. Yeah? And we have the wide range of brackets and assembly possibilities. So that means we have nearly everything possible that was possible with the mirror and the 1044. So that means we have all the different brackets with bolts and nuts and shock mounts and end brackets and side brackets and triangles and everything. It's all possible with the TL60. So there are no problems to mount a TL60 wherever you like. We have a high light quality. Yeah, we have two different versions available. The one is 2200 lumen, replacing the 2x18. And the second one is the long version with 4500 lumen light output, system light output. We are talking about this. Replacing the 2x36. We are still working with these lumen packages because most of the customers are used to the 2x18 and 2x36, using these packages in their thinking, even from feeling of how to place and where to place the fittings. We have a color rendering index above 80, and the color temperature standard is 4000 Kelvin. Yeah? So the TL60, as it is a LED fitting, it's really for demanding applications. So normally in engine rooms we have high temperature, high vibration, shock. Yeah? So the LED fitting, the TL60, especially with the setup of the combination of LED with the housing made of seawater resistant aluminium, is designed to even reach this high ambient temperature. Yeah? It's for technical rooms, same, because mainly with high vibration and high temperature. Yeah? Also for freezing rooms, the low temperature. The LED likes low temperatures and even will withstand much longer in a low temperature area. So for the freezing rooms down to minus 30, minus 35 degrees, yeah? So you always should use, if possible, you should use LED, because you have the same light output in high temperature as in low temperature. So there is no light output reduction as normal for the T8 tubes. For the T8 tubes in a freezing room, for example, with minus 30 degrees, there's nearly no light output left. With the LED, it's nearly the same light output as in the higher temperature. The light output for the LED in the low temperature range even increasing. Yeah? Only it's a little bit, but it's not decreasing. The second or first, last point, of course, is it's also for outdoor. The TL60 has the high IP rate and, as mentioned before, shock vibration proof, and you have an instant light. The LED normally starts with the same speed as the incandescent bulb, so there's no heating up or cooling down time. Yeah? And of course, it's an excellent light color rendering index. So, long lifetime at high ambient temperature. We started with the engine rooms. Yeah? So the real point is we have an estimated lifetime, or rated lifetime of 100,000 hours at 45 degrees ambient temperature. So that's excellent. So that means fit and forget. Yeah? New building, new fitting, and of course you will scrap the fitting together with your vessel, or it will be sold several times. Yeah? So this is possible because, as I mentioned before, we have the combination of the LED PCB board placed directly on the seawater resistant aluminium housing. So this housing directly be used as a heatsink. So that means there's no connection as we had before with a gear tray or something just placed on small parts. It's on the whole PCB board. There's a contact to the housing, and of course, as this aluminium profile, the housing itself, you can see it on the top on the small part, and on the back you can see it a whole aluminium profile used as a heatsink. Yeah? And the aluminium, of course, is seawater resistant. Yeah? And we know what we are talking about. Yeah. So the PCB board is placed directly on an aluminium reflector, directly on the aluminium housing. So there's nothing as powder-coated stainless steel or something in between. It's directly the PCB board placed on the aluminium. We have a robust and solid diffuser system. Here you can see there are only two small stripes of diffusers. Yeah? In the middle here, in the center, this is part of the aluminium body. We have solid polycarbonate end caps and connection boxes, and we have an extremely long lifetime for the used components. So not only for the LEDs themselves, but also high quality driver with the same lifetime as the LEDs. So that means we will not have, let's say, long lifetime LEDs, and we say, okay, the lifetime of the LED is 100,000 hours, but the driver will fail after 20,000 hours, so that doesn't make any sense. Yeah? So the whole system is designed for this rated lifetime of 100,000 hours. Some technical data, body anodized seawater resistant aluminum, mounting bracket in stainless steel, yeah? And of course sometimes there are coming some comments as yeah, how could you combine aluminum and stainless steel, and we will have corrosion in between and all this. The combination of aluminum and stainless steel is not new. So if I just refer to our brand Northlight, we have the searchlight drum itself. It's made of seawater resistant aluminum, and the forks carrying and turning this drum are made of stainless steel. So this combination is very well known and tested in the Glamox group. Once again, rated lifetime 100,000 hours at 45 degrees ambient temperature, so on a high ambient temperature level. Junction box and end caps made of polycarbonate. Easy connection with Wago push-in terminals. So this is a standard. You can just push in your wires. No screw terminals, just push in. Of course, all possibilities are available, or if there's something you need and it's not in the web, then of course contact your salesperson. These connectors are prepared for a diameter of max 6 square millimeters cross connection. IP rating of the whole fitting is IP66/IP67. So that means the fitting is withstanding IP66 and IP67, and even we have done some tests with high pressure cleaners in-house here, and it's even a bit more than that. Yeah. So the ambient temperature minimum -35 degrees, maximum +55 degrees. This is for the standard fitting, so we are not talking about emergency in the moment. Yeah. So, wide range of brackets. I don't know if everybody of you were participating in the exhibition in Hamburg, but there we had one board. You can see here on the right is a picture. One board with different mounting possibilities of the TL60, yeah, with the end brackets below the connection box, yeah, with shock mounts, with eyeballs, yeah, with side brackets, yeah, everything. And of course the easiest thing is you can just slide these brackets on the back so that it even would fit for your mounting requirements. Yeah? So you can move it where it is. Even if a shipyard or wherever has done a wrong welding with the footprints or something, it can be adjusted. Yeah? So it's very flexible, this system. Yeah? The voltage range for the standard is 110 volt to 240 volt. We are always talking about AC, not DC. Frequency 50 or 60 cycle, that doesn't matter. Yeah, but no DC. We have a very low building height, yeah, below of 75 millimeters. As a standard, we have M25 glands for cable prepared for 7 to 17 millimeter outer diameter. 2 glands and 2 blind plugs as a standard in the connection box. And optional, you can get VLAN quick connectors. Yeah? So, according to the marine requirements, GL approved, design of body end caps diffuser ensures the IP rate of IP66 and 67. What mentioned before, voltage range, ambient temperature. I think one of the most important part is here, you will get a 5 years warranty. Yeah? Because this is a real LED designed fixture, and we have no problem to say, okay, this will withstand minimum 5 years. Yeah? So a bit about the light data. Yeah, we have a LED light source, of course, otherwise it would not be in this presentation. Available in two sizes, as mentioned before. Lumen output is system output of 2200 lumen or 4500 lumen. We always give these lumen packages plus minus 10% because there's always development in the LEDs, and we say, okay, we cannot change the complete PCB board, let's say every week or monthly, because we get better LEDs. So that means we say, okay, we will cover a different range where we can say, okay, as long as we are in this range, we say, okay, it's 2200. So that means even with 2400 lumen, it will be called 2200. Yeah? And later on, if it would be a higher light output, we would change the PCB board and reduce the lumen output back to 2200. Or /end, we can have a different version with a higher lumen output. So that means that we can have a version especially for new builds that you can say, okay, we can reduce the number of fittings, or even we are just keeping it as it is to have the same evenness, to have, let's say, or to keep our light planning. Yeah? The color rendering index is above 80, so this is our minimum. The color temperature as a standard is 4000 Kelvin. So on the left side here you can see the light distribution curve of the TL60, the 2200 lumen version. And you can see here down we have a light output rate of 100%. So that means the 2200 lumen means really system light output. It's not light output from the LEDs themselves, it's light output out of the luminaire, out of the TL60, outside of the diffusers. So on the right hand here you can see we have a mirror 2x18 light distribution curve. You can see here is, of course, the light output rate is 72%. So that means it's 72% of the tubes, the light emitted from the tubes will just get out of the fitting itself. The rest will be absorbed by the diffuser or even reflected somewhere behind the gear tree or wherever. So it's not useful. And what also you can see here, on the TL60 we have a light distribution curve related to the LEDs directly. So this means we have approximately 120 degrees light output out of the fitting down to the bottom. Yeah. So for the mirror or the 1044 or whatever, it's a 2x18 fitting or 2x36 fitting, you always will get some edges up here that will be distributed from the tubes towards the gear tray reflectors or whatever, and then reflected downwards to the bottom. Yeah? And of course in total you can see here the kilocandela lumen output is much higher than for the mirror or the 1044. So the light is really directed to the bottom. It's not spread around the area, not to the ceiling. It's just there where you like or where it's needed. Yeah? So TL60 and energy, reduced energy consumption. So if we are starting with a new building, we always got the problem that the shipyard is not really interested in buying LED fittings because they have to invest a bit more. But the one point, of course, is the owner should be interested, because then he is able to reduce his power consumption. So that means he will get a real short payback of his investment. And on the other hand, especially on the new building, it really can make sense to take into consideration additional savings as smaller wiring, smaller diameters. Maybe they end up with a bit more changed on board with to a smaller generator. So it's an overall part. But we are just focusing on the power consumption, the energy consumption, energy saving by using LED instead of conventional T8 with conventional driver or ballast. Yeah. So for this case, we just took a car deck because that's an even wide deck, yeah, with a lot of light in there, and we had a car deck of approximately 200 meter by 35 meters, and we compared TL60 with the mirror or with the 1044 2x36. We took the big ones because then we do not have this high amount of fittings. We have a bit less installation. That's the reason why normally you would go for all the big long fittings in these areas. So up here we will find the conventional and the LED, compare to each other. Number of fittings, we just take the same and say, okay, the light output is equivalent, and we can use, let's say, just take the same number of fittings, even if we would have a bit more light output from the TL60 than from the 2x36. Yeah? So we end up with 147 fittings, and of course we will have a different price in the fittings. Yeah? So the conventional was 135 euro, and the LED was 405 euro each single fixture. Yeah. So of course we can discuss these prices, but it's just to place something in there, and I believe it's a standard price for this. Yeah. Installation cost is the same if we would install a TL60 or a 1044 mirror. It would be the same. We just calculate with 20 euros per fitting. Then we will end up with approximately investment of 23,000 for the conventional and 63,000 for the LED fitting. So this is a real big difference. Yeah, it's 40,000 euros different for one car deck only. Yeah, the investment cost LED compared with conventional. Yeah, so in this step, everybody will say 40,000 euro. No, I will not take it. But if we go further down, we can see the energy consumption per fitting. A big 2x36 ends up approximately with nearly 100 watt per fixture, and the LED ends up with 50, so only half of it. The energy price we calculated with 30 euro cents. So if you want to calculate it with more or less, of course you can do so. This calculator, for example, is will be found on the web. Operation hours, both the same, because nobody would change his behavior if he had the LED or T8. Yeah? Running 24/7. Light source lifetime, 12,500 for the T8 and 100,000 hours for the LED. Lamp exchange cost 10 euro, and of course we have no lamp exchange for the LED. Then maintenance cost, it's this changing the lamps, maybe changing some ballast or something like this, yeah, cleaning and all this, mainly changing ballast. We end up with 20 euro material maintenance cost, including the inspection, and we have to do inspection on the conventional every 5 years. So that means the running cost, the operational cost per year for the conventional is nearly 30,000, nearly 40,000, sorry. It's 39,000 per year for all the fixtures. We ended up here with 147. For the LED version, it's nearly 20,000, so it's nearly half of it. So that means every year we have a different in operation cost of nearly 20,000 euro more spending for the conventional than for the LED. And this means, with calculating this 40,000, we end up with a payback time of 2 years just by using this cost difference in operation over the year. Not talking about smaller cabling or less breakers or whatever. Yeah, it's just using the energy cost and the lamp exchange cost. So that means after 2 years, the customer, the end customer, of course, the ship owner in this case, will get his return of investment with a 5 years warranty. That means he will have minimum another 3 years for saving this money. Even if the LED would break after 5 years or after 4.5 years, he will get a replacement for free anyhow. But the rated lifetime is 100,000 hours, and 100,000 hours really means 12.5 years. If it's running, let's say, 24/7. Yeah. So, what's already available? So this is the main assortment so far for the TL60. What we can see here is we have different cable glands. Yeah? So we have the cable glands on the right side here. We have the plugs mentioned before, VLAN quick connectors. We have polycarbonate cable glands. We have nickel plated brass cable glands. We have different mounting versions. Yeah? So as aqua signal mounting brackets, same as the 1044, or the end brackets as used for the mirror. We will have different ones with shock mounts and all this. We have the power consumption 24 or 48 watt. We have voltages, you can see here standard 110 to 240, except the emergency versions. Yeah, so you can see here the emergency versions. They are only 230 or 110, let's say 110 to 120, that's okay, but it's 120 or 230. Yeah, so the emergency version, the LED driver can go from 110 to 240, but the emergency unit is not able to get this wide voltage range. So that means, especially for the emergency version, you should know if the vessel will run for 110 or 230 volts. Yeah, frequency 50 to 60 cycles always, and the temperature here you can see here as a standard we have -35 to +55 as mentioned before, but we have different ones. We have one in here, for example, this is dimmable. The dimmable version is -25, it's not going down to -35. So normally you will not dim the fittings in the cold room, I believe. So yeah, and you will not dim the fittings outside. And of course the emergency fitting is limited to +45 in the upper area, and down everybody knows it's not so easy to charge batteries below 0 degrees. So of course the discharging is possible below 0, but the charging is a problem. And if you're running, let's say in Arctic areas with ambient temperatures of let's say -25 degrees, you should not have a standard battery backup version somewhere outside. Then of course you should have some special versions as the Max LED with heating cable and all this. So that's something special. So this is what's available so far. We have different variants, a lot of variants. Yeah, the wide range of brackets, assembly possibilities, VLAN quick connectors, different numbers of glands. So you can have, for example, here you can see the connection box as a standard 2 cable glands, 2 blind plugs. Yeah, and of course you also can have it with 3 blind plugs and 1 cable gland, with 4 cable glands, and with different cable glands. Even if you would like, you could mix the cable glands, but it doesn't make any sense for me. We will have a dimmable version, emergency version, and of course, please ask if you need a special version for a special customer, or if you need a special version, let's say, for your special demands. So just talk to us, ask for it. Yeah. So there are a lot of possibilities we can do with the TL60. Yeah, we will have. For example, we can have through wiring with 2 connection boxes. In this case, this is a battery box, but yeah, it would look like the same if we had a through wiring with 2 connection boxes. Then, of course, we will have cable glands also here, and then you can have it through wiring. Yeah? Everything's possible. Again, some selling points. We have an extreme long lifetime. Rated lifetime is 100,000 hours at 45 degrees ambient temperature. Slim design, you remember, below 75 millimeters. Low power consumption. It's only the long version, it's 48 watt, the short version 24 watt. Yeah. No maintenance, really fit and forget the fitting. Short return of investment. On the car decks, for example, we calculated with 2 years if it's running 24/7. Wide aperture temperature range. The standard is -35 to +55. Some limits with 40. Yeah. Some limits with the dimmable version and the battery backup version, for example. Easy installation, as we have all the different bracket possibilities and mounting possibilities. Yeah. And the brackets are adjustable. Yeah. So on the back you can slide, or let's say loosen the screws a bit and move the brackets where you need. Yeah. And of course you can get a brochure. It's in the catalog, it's on the web, and of course all the light distribution curves are in OptiWin. So that was it from my side so far. So thanks a lot, and I don't know if there had been a lot of questions or any questions coming up so far. Robert, I will pass over to you.
Yes, there has been some questions that we have replied underways. Thank you again, Nicholas, from what at least I see as a very good presentation. I hope that's okay. You hold that for a long time. I hope also the attendees enjoyed it as much as I did. Just pinpoint a couple of things. These calculator, this payback, this investment calculator that Nicholas showed is located on our LED education center at our website. So that's a dynamic calculator where you can fill in different, say, quantities, prices, and also cost of energy can be done together with your client. So that should work for the different applications. We will send out a link, as Nicholas also mentioned in the beginning, so you can actually see this webinar as a stream. It will be sent out a link from the system, so you can go in and look at it again or share it with colleagues. So then you have a chance to look at it again. In parallel, I did now a test for information that it's available in the App Store app for GoToWebinar. So I was looking at it also in parallel to my smartphone. So if you are not in your office, it works actually perfect to follow the webinar on your smartphone. You can both see and hear exactly the same information that we saw on this on your PCs. So there is nothing more to add from me except from that we have planned a new webinar, in 3 to 4 weeks time for the same audience. There will be this same webinar will also be held in tomorrow at 3 Central European time. So if there are colleagues that want to see it again, then they can just use the same invitation that we have sent out before and sign in again. So I think that's it from my side, Nicholas.
Yep.
Then I propose that we close this and wish you all a nice week. Good luck selling TL60. We will do our utmost.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye.